It's time for the Ship's Gonna Happen podcast. Here with a load of laughs, info, and fun. It's Tony B, Dave B, and Timmy D.
Before I go alone. Don't ask me this and one more song. It ain't too costly, no, I ain't too cheap, so just relax. I'm on my knees.
Good morning and welcome to the Ship's Gonna Happen podcast, episode number 141. My name is Tony B. Alongside me, usually, but not this morning, is David B. He is getting ready for a big tailgate. This is Views of Ship's Gonna... What's that?
I said that's right.
That's right. The Views of Ship's Gonna Happen are purely news-driven and do not express the views of any transportation company or any business that has a transportation company. We just simply do it, David, because why?
Transportainment.
Ba-boom! You can catch us on all the platforms: YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, all the platforms. Just type our name in there. Ship's Gonna Happen. David B., happy Saturday morning. I know you're getting ready for a tailgate, man. You are getting food ready and all sorts of stuff.
Good morning, producer Tony. So good to hear your voice on this Saturday morning. I want to take a minute here real quick and first thank the Great Divide for continuing to be our sponsor of the show. 743 East New York Street, downtown Indianapolis. Great place to go, kind of unwind after a Ship's Gonna Happen week, and great place to go to get a great meal and some good beverages and have some outstanding conversations, chatting it up with the locals. Jen and her crew are going to do a great job of taking care of you. If you're ever in the Indianapolis area, stop by the Great Divide and tell them that you said hello or whatever. Tell them that we sent you in there, and they got our billboard back up for us, Tony. So right on time that we're getting our show going up again, and they're kind enough to give us some billboard time on the south side of Indy, and that's greatly appreciated. And I want to also thank our listeners for checking in on us while we've been on hiatus. You know, Tony had a concert summer going on, and I'm excited to hear a little bit about how that went, and other life stuff kind of gets in the way sometimes, but we're back at it this week and looking forward to it. And I'm excited to get back to talking about transportainment on this Saturday morning, producer Tony.
Yeah, David, sounds great to hear your voice too. It feels good to be back in the saddle here. Like you brought up a good point. So we had some life stuff going on. You had some vacation stuff. I had some back-to-back concerts that really kind of prohibited the podcast in the morning. So things happen or whatever. Sometimes life stuff's get in the way. So speaking of those concerts, Tony, was there a concert you saw that might have been like the one that stands out for you? Yeah, I'm gonna blow your mind right now.
Okay.
Because I'm not as big as fan, and I never would have thought that. Well, first of all, I had, obviously people that listen don't know, but David knows I have my wife and I buy the Ruoff pass to go to all the concerts. So, and we only live like 25 minutes away, right? So it's pretty easy to get in and out. And I would have to say a ton of shows, and everything from country to rock to hard rock to all that stuff we went to. 16 shows, I think. I'm gonna go with James Taylor and Red Hot Chili Peppers.
I wasn't expecting that to come out of your mouth. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. James Taylor. Yeah. How young is James Taylor?
David, I think he's 76.
Damn.
And he sounded great, man. And it was just like some of these artists, will get kind of political. And we know where James Taylor stands, but at that concert, you wouldn't have known that. He didn't, he just said, hey, I like this message. This is America. America, your life's a journey. Live your journey, right? And I just thought it was didn't hear really any of them say it, but in saying all that, yeah, it was incredible. But I tell you what, one of the most packed concerts that I was at was the band Creed.
Really?
Yeah, I was shocked. It was
Creed.
for Creed, man, who hasn't played or toured in years.
I'll be darned.
And it wasn't
I wouldn't have
bad.
guessed that either.
I know.
Okay, yeah.
I know.
So was there a concert that just kind of like, this wasn't what I was expecting, or was there a big concert that I'm not necessarily bad, but that maybe underwhelmed you?
Maroon 5.
Okay.
Left early.
All right. Was Maroon 5 the headliner of whatever, or were they?
Yeah, they were the headliner. I think you or I could have been performed better vocally.
So now, knowing you as well as I know you, when you go to all these shows and stuff, you have this certain pattern or whatever. Do you have a like, I don't know if ritual is the right word, but are you like, all right, we're going to do this, this, and this, and boom, boom, boom? Is that, or you just wing it every time?
Oh my gosh, you know me too well, David. You hit a nerve with that question.
I didn't mean to hit a nerve.
Yeah.
I didn't mean you don't have to answer it if you don't want to.
No,
I didn't mean to hit the nerve.
It's a good nerve.
Okay.
So like Friday's harder because you're working, but like, if the concert's on a Saturday, what Ann and I do is we usually leave about 3:45, 4:00. We get there early. We get in the parking lot when the gates open. And then if you're on the lawn, what you can do with the pass is they'll let the people with the pass in before people with tickets. So then you get in line and they'll, sometimes they'll say passes and then you go on in line. So you can literally be like the first 1,000 into the stadium. And yeah. So the problem is you'll be the first in, but you'll be waiting for the concert for now an hour and a half to 2 hours, right? But you get the seat you want, right? So that's the whole key. So we storm in and we race to the lawn, and then we kind of pick out the seat that we want, and we sit there, and usually it works out pretty good. It's the greatest place to me to see a concert.
And so, okay, I've never been there, so I'm going to take your word for it. What? So you bring your own like little lawn chair things or something, or
yeah,
what?
They allow you to. They rent them, and then you can bring your. And they got to be a certain height. They're kind of the ones that when you get older, you don't want to sit on them.
Right.
But everybody's kind of bringing chairs, or they're renting them for the most part. Some concerts they don't allow it; they just won't allow it. And I think I can't remember which one they didn't allow it at. I was surprised. Oh, Stained and Breaking Benjamin.
Well, I can see that. Yeah, that makes sense.
They didn't allow it, so
because somebody's going to throw something,
right? So
or not? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'm not trying to. Interesting.
Yeah.
So how? Just out of curiosity, and I know we've got better things to talk about than this, but it's been a while since we've had a show, and I'm curious to. So is the pass reasonably priced, and is this on the books again for next year too? Is this something that you guys really enjoyed and want to keep going to do and all that?
Yeah, I'll do it forever as long as I can get that pass because it's a great question, David. Because the Ruoff Center, man, I don't know if don't hold me to these stats, but I know that it's in the top 10 revenue producing stadiums in the country for a concert. Might be top 5.
And you gotta think the Indianapolis area is just perfect for. I mean, think about all the concert venues that are in the Indianapolis area. There's quite a few.
It's unbelievable. I mean, like you had said, I think you had told me one time you had read that it was rated one of the top places in North America, right? To see a concert, and like you're saying. You got Lucas Oil Stadium. You got the basketball arena. You got just so many venues. Ruoff.
Yeah. Well, even the smaller venues, the Vogue, Hi-Fi, and the list goes on and on. We were at Square Cat Vinyl last night watching a show, just 2 local bands or whatever, and it was a perfect spot.
Was it?
It was for I mean, you know how small Square Cat Vinyl is.
Right.
Yes, it was in comparison, and it was good to see. It was good to see that there was that many people that had shown up and turned out for 2 little local bands that I'd never heard of before, and they both did an excellent job. And then we just got to, how just like when you and I go to lunch, we just start idly chit-chatting with whoever, and we were just idly chit-chatting with, some dude that was from Noblesville that he came down to see the band and meet a group of his friends there, and it was it was outstanding conversation, and the bands were really good. I was glad that we went, and it was only $15, so you can't beat that.
And you go there a
Can't beat
lot.
that.
That's a hot area for local bands and stuff. That's like a mecca for young artists, I think, that are in bands. It's that little nook there's what's it called again, David? Fountain.
It's Fountain Square.
Yeah.
The Fountain Square district of Indianapolis. It's kind of my go-to unwind place on Fridays after a long week, just to listen to some music and people watch and grab a beer or two or whatever. So, but again, Indianapolis has got some really good music venues and stuff. So
yeah, it's really kind of goes unnoticed. But I think what I've seen, because I've gone to the Roof ever since we lived in the Indianapolis area, what I've noticed is usually there might be only like one or two good bands during the season. Like that you and I would be like, man, got to see them. But
right,
the last couple of years, it's been like, man, it's just, I mean, think about this. I had like literally a front row seat to Pearl Jam, all those bands. And when it equates out, I think it was like $14 a ticket once you know what I mean? Once you go to all these shows. Nice. Yeah. So it's yeah, man, you just can't beat it. You just can't, the crowd's passive and nice. And it's just a great environment. And, they're building a lot of buildings up around the Ruoff Center. So at some point it's probably going to be harder to get in and out of there, but it's definitely still worth it.
Awesome, man. That's good to hear. Good to hear. I mean, you need those things are, not once in a lifetime, but you need to get away and kind of do stuff like that. So that's good that you guys were able to enjoy that stuff. And yeah, that's awesome, man. That's really good. I saw one concert this summer at Hi-Fi, and it was outside and it was phenomenal.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
I like Hi-Fi also.
Was that White River?
Hi-Fi's Fountain Square.
Oh, it was right across the street.
Right across the street from Square Cap.
Oh, yeah. That's where a lot of those shows are, right? That they
they do, and they have an inside spot and an outside spot.
Wow.
So we saw a concert in the outside spot or whatever. That was really good. The name of the band was Lettuce. They're a funk band out of Boston, and it was just as good as I thought it would be.
That's awesome. So now, what are you preparing today for the tailgate, Dave? Before we get
well, so we have some special guests today. So I normally only do certain things once a year. So for the second time this year, I'm making brats. So I'd already I did brats a couple weeks ago, and so my brat method is as soon as I get on campus, I'm gonna fire up the grill and I'm gonna brown the brats really quick. Just kind of brown them up on all the sides, and then give them they're going to take a bath for an hour in beer, onions, and peppers. So they need to cook for a good hour, and then they'll be ready about 11:30 or so or whatever. So, and then there's some other people coming. Matt Norton's going to be there. John Brockett. And there's a handful of other people coming. So it's going to be a good day. They play St. Francis at 1. I'm not so sure how well they're going to do today because St. Francis is just as equally as good as Marion. So we'll see. I mean, it's been a decent season. This is the next to the last home game. There's only one home game left after this one. So, and that's November the 9th. But we're going to have a good people, good turnout, and it's going to be a good day.
Man, that sounds like a good time. How many more tailgates are there left?
November the 9th is the last one after today.
I'm going to have to get to that one.
Yeah, you're going to be, which, I mean, I know this is last minute, but if you aren't doing nothing today, I'm sure John would love to see you, but, I know this is last minute.
Oh, is he coming today too?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah, Matt Norton and John Brockett. Yeah.
Rocket Man. Oh,
yeah.
That's awesome, David. Sounds like a good time.
Yeah. It'll be fun. I do need to find a good. Do you have a good NA beer? I don't have a good NA beer. Do you? You know of one?
The only one I know is O'Doul's, right? But I think there's more than that now.
Yeah. I mean, I can't keep up with when I'm with Brockett, and I have no desire to sit. I'm driving today. I don't have a driver. So
Yeah, so
two
I
will
see.
be my. You know what I'm getting
Yeah,
at?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I
I have plenty of waters and plenty of pops, but anyway, you know what I'm saying.
yeah, I'm gonna look it up real quick.
I don't. So Square Cat has an NA, and I don't remember what the American Eagle, I think, is that what it's called, or something. I don't remember what, but it's not bad. But now's not the time. Anyway, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
no.
should have thought of this. I should have thought of this yesterday.
They have non-alcoholic bourbon now.
What?
That is crazy.
I do have a bottle of Crown in the truck. It's unopened. I just put it on the table as a display. Nobody drinks it. And 10 years ago, I probably would have, but now, I don't know.
There's one called, it's rated #1 in the country. It's a botanical non-alcoholic spirit. It's called Pentire. P-E-N-T. Pentire.
10 as in the number 10, T-E-N?
I'm sorry. P as in Paul.
Oh.
Pentire. Says it's one of the best.
Okay. Is it a lager-ish thing or something?
I'm trying to find out. It says Herbacaucus Coastal Fresh. If you don't like a dry astringent drink, you may not like a drink. It's a dry drink. It's got a tonic in it. Yeah.
All right.
It says it's been rated #1 in the country. That, and they got another one called Pentire Adrift, which is a clear bottle. It's in a clear bottle. Hell, that might not be in Indiana. I've never seen it.
I went to Walmart this morning just making it. I always just pick up Coors Light. John's a Coors Light guy. I drink Coors Light. And so I noticed out of the corner of my eye that a case of Coke is $13.88. Why in God's name is a case of Coke $13.88? I'm like, am I missing something here? I mean, maybe I've just been out of the loop or whatever, but I normally pay attention to that stuff. How in the world is a case of Coke $13.88? I don't understand.
Yeah, that seems.
Is it the aluminum cost? Is it I mean, I don't know. I'm like, I thought it was a mix-up. That seems crazy.
I'm looking here online. Coca-Cola at Meijer, $13.99.
Yeah, that's nuts, man. That is crazy.
Yep.
What in the world?
Even though, yeah. I don't. That seems kind of high, right?
Seems really high. So during this little hiatus, I got one. And I know again we've got other things to be talking about. During this little hiatus, how often did Ann pester you like, hey, how come you're not doing the podcast? How come you like every Saturday? I had to hear, how come you're not doing the podcast? You didn't even talk to Tony anymore. Blah blah blah. I go, you're making something of nothing. It's absolutely nothing to. Yeah. I'm like, I'm not even going to talk to you about it. I'm not gonna. You could think whatever it is going on in your little brain there, but I'm not discussing that with you because everything's fine.
When it was, no, that's funny you said, because I got the same, but some of mine were like it was like, how are you going to do it? How are you going to do it Friday night, right? And then a couple Friday night coming back, how are you going to do it in the morning? You're not, and it's like,
oh, I got you. Yeah, there ain't no way. I got you.
Yeah, you're right.
So you guys don't Uber down, or when you do those concerts? Or?
Usually trade off.
I guess Uber up would be the right way, not down.
Well, you ask a great question, because usually we'll trade off, but I was guilty of not being beneficial with the trade off on many occasions. If you catch my drift.
I understood. Yeah, completely. Wow, interesting. I had Uber driver yesterday. I was out standing from downtown. We were going to Fountain Square. A Hispanic gal that we got her citizenship in 1989, and it was just a good damn story. It was, how scared she was. It that she's like 60 right now, and in 1989 that would have made her, probably in her mid 20s or something, or maybe late mid. But anyway, it was just an excellent conversation. She's a nurse, and it was just good to hear just that story, and to get to hear that how scared she was about coming over, and then how it's over United States has been her home now since 1989, and just how much she loved it. So it was just a great story, and I told her, I go, that's a story I wish everybody could hear, because it's an outstanding story, and we're happy to have you here and all that stuff. And it was she raised 3 daughters and has grandkids and all that stuff, and it was just an excellent story.
Well, it sometimes we take for granted what it really took people to get here, right? And
sure,
because some of us families have been here for a while, right? And it's like we take that for granted sometimes.
One of my bucket list things is legitimately to go volunteer at a naturalization ceremony, because the public isn't invited to go to naturalization ceremonies, but you can go and volunteer, and that's kind of one of my bucket list things. So maybe one time go and volunteer just to get other stories or whatever, just to hear people's stories and stuff.
I think there's I think Indianapolis has one.
Yeah, they do. It's every so often, but you have to sign up to volunteer, and I just need to do it instead of talking about it. I just need to go do it. Like they said, they don't let the public come watch. Mm-hmm. I guess I kind of understand why, because there's probably some people out there that would
idiots. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm going on.
Yeah.
But So, but I think that would be so cool to do that. Just my own opinion.
It would be, because there's probably a lot of great stories, man.
That would tug
at people's hearts and emotions, and and I fortunately have seen some foreign countries being in the military and stuff, and there's no place like this. So, but so David, the trucking world's kind of been up and down a little bit. So, waiting for a boost in the economy. The trucking world seems to just be plugging along still, right?
It is. I had Yeah, you're right. Rates are still kind of coming down some. I would like to see them, especially on my end. I'd like to see them come down a little bit more. I'm driving by the TA truck stop now at the Zionsville exit, and diesel is at $3.47. So wow. that helps bring things down, costs down also. So I had a discussion with FedEx the other day about if they were still thinking about spinning off their LTL, and they just kind of gave me well, that's kind of still in the works, I guess, or whatever. So not sure why that hadn't happened yet, or if it's even going to happen. But.
Yeah, because they put it out there they're reevaluating it, is what they said, right? And
yeah,
who could buy that?
And
go ahead.
And your opinion, don't you think, or whatever, that we could, or the LTL market, couldn't they maybe not necessarily stand to lose a FedEx size business, but it maybe and I don't want anybody to not have a job. I'm not saying that a company could go under, but don't you think that it could stand to absorb another loss in the industry, even though I don't want that to happen?
Yeah, I don't either, but I think it raises some good questions, though. To me, I think someone would buy it, and it would just be who would buy that, because it's a 10 billion plus entity that they have on the freight side. So that's a big chunk of change.
Well, was it you, or was somebody saying that the people, maybe I've got this wrong, the people that were going to buy Yellow thought about buying it, or is that not right?
I thought I just said that suggestively, maybe that guy would do it. The Cooper gentleman, and then
that's it.
But I don't know if he's, he was probably looking for the YRC on a much better deal than having to pay, 10 billion plus, because that's probably, I mean, I think they do 10 billion in revenue easy on the FedEx Freight side. They're definitely the largest. But yeah, I don't know. It would take someone like that, or I mean, a DHL, Amazon, but I mean, Amazon, do they, everybody thinks they're going to buy one, but they seem to be getting away without buying one. So,
Right. Amazon would make sense, I guess. I didn't even think about that.
Because they have all the equipment. They'd have all those terminals. They could sell the terminals off if they just wanted the equipment and use their network, right? So
yeah, that makes sense. And they would probably increase their, stupid comment, but it would increase their volume or the type of things that they could deliver.
Yeah, right. Then they're in the market.
Yeah. Interesting.
They could literally be moving their Amazon freight for free and charging, just using the revenue that they get from customer. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Huh.
Or maybe
Interesting.
Not free, but at a really, really low cost.
Right. Yeah. And they put out, I thought I saw third quarter numbers a week or so ago or whatever, and it's the same typical at the top, OD, Saya. I still don't understand the OD, but whatever. Yeah, I mean, the big ones, and FedEx, OD, and Saya, or whatever, kind of the big three, I guess, or no?
What, like the largest LTL carriers?
Yeah. As far as revenue, like third quarter, I thought that's what I was reading or whatever. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it is. Let's see here. I'll pull it up real quick. The top 10, according to Intech Freight and Logistics, they have a 2024 ranking here. FedEx, XPO, Old Dominion, T-Force, Estes, ABF, R&L, Saya, Southeastern Freight Lines, and then Averitt. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's the top 10.
But
go ahead.
All of those are publicly held, or no?
No.
Or all of those, no.
Estes is privately held. R&L is privately held. So what's crazy about this, David, is because you bring up a good point. Is so you look at it from who does the most shipments in LTL environment and who does the most revenue. And FedEx has them both. They do both, more shipments and more revenue. I think XPO has more shipments, but Old Dominion has the second most revenue. So it's the way it's factored a little bit, shipment versus revenue. Obviously, you probably want the revenue, right? So
yeah,
but yeah, I mean, T-Force is still in there. So and maybe T-Force would be willing to buy FedEx if they're going to sell it. And David and I don't know anything, and I'm not alleging anything, but that's news out there. So.
But T-Force, though, I mean, I haven't heard anything out of anybody from T-Force.
Well, the only reason I say that, David, is the company that owns T-Force. They seem to buy somebody every month. Yeah, I mean, I think they've had 60 some purchases in like 5 years. So, and that's truckload, package, all this stuff they're buying all around the country and in Canada, because they're from Canada.
Okay.
So, but I don't know. It'll be interesting. The whole FedEx thing is since UPS got rid of the freight side, now they're wondering, do they really, really need to do all? I don't know. I mean, they've shut down 30 terminals, right? So,
yeah.
Seems like they're strategizing to do something. So,
interesting.
Yeah,
interesting. Seeing a lot of competitive truckload rates. I mean, coming down big time. Going out west, and seeing a good $800 drop in rates in the last 12 months, which is good to see. And then that market, though, you wonder if they're going to try to tighten that up too, or whatever. Because especially with fuel coming down, and there's still people holding on to jobs out there because they think that it's still the pandemic, and that didn't understand the it's cyclical or whatever. There's ups and even flows and all that stuff with the freight world.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Yep.
crazy.
So, so what do you think about the Colts, David? We talk about sports here real
So,
quick.
all right, 3-3, what are they? 3-3, I think, or is it 4? I don't.
I pulled it up, David. They are Colts are 4-3.
Okay.
4-3, second place in the conference.
Play Houston tomorrow, right?
Yeah, they play Houston tomorrow.
At Houston,
which will be a tough game.
Yeah, well, I think it seems to me that they just play to their opponent or whatever. They're nothing flashy. I mean, they beat Miami.
Yeah.
They beat Miami 16-10. I didn't hear anybody talking about that game at all. Like, hey, look at the Colts. None of that's mentioned. I think what about your Bears though? I mean, are you Caleb Williams? He's looking good, right?
I think it worked out for them. I really do. I mean, they're in last place, but they're 4-2.
Well, and it also worked out for what's the dude's name that went to Pittsburgh?
Justin Fields.
Yeah, I mean that's worked out for him, right?
It has. It has worked out really well for him. And I'm kind of glad the Bears did him that way. They didn't shove him off and release him, cut him, or do some kind of. They worked out a good deal, and I think that's a perfect place for a guy like Justin Fields to be. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers is a great coach, a great organization. They seem to hone in their talent, and win football games. So, and the Steelers are having a great year this year.
Yeah. And what's the Bears record?
Bears are in last place, but they're 4-2. The first place team is 5-1.
Okay.
Vikings are 5-2. Packers are 5-2. So surprisingly, being a guy from Chicago, I can say for the first time in my life, this conference might be the best conference in football. Right.
Sounds like it.
If they were in any other conference, they'd be in second place. If they were in the NFC West, they'd be in first. If they were in the Commanders, they'd be tied for first. I'm sorry, NFC East. If they were in the the Bills are 5-2, Dolphins 2-4, Jets 2-5, Patriots 1-6. The Bears would be in second place looking for a playoff spot. You know what I mean? So it's hey, if we win 9 games or 10, the Bears, the gentleman who picked all these players and assembled them probably needs to be player personnel director of the year, because it's spectacular what he's done. And in my lifetime, the Bears had 2 first-round quarterbacks they picked. The only one they ever did before was McMahon, and that was in the 80s, right? 84, 83, something like that. 82.
Numbers-wise, though, for the Bears, like just statistics alone, isn't Jay Cutler like the best Bears quarterback ever? Based off of numbers, just numbers. I mean, like statistics.
You just slapped me in the face so hard when you said that.
Am I wrong?
No,
maybe
right.
I'm wrong.
No, you're right. You're right. I just didn't like him.
Boils from 3.
Remember the playoff game where he hurt his toe and he didn't want to play?
Yeah. Did you see he got busted? Did you see he got busted a week ago? How does that happen?
What did he get caught doing?
Yeah, he got a DUI.
Oh, he did?
In Nashville. How does that happen? How are you a whatever blah, blah, blah $1 million athlete in this day and age? How do you not have an Uber app on your phone and just effing Uber? Why even risk it?
Yeah, I know.
Just saying out loud.
Especially when you got money. When you got money, you could literally throw in the fire pit to get the fire started.
Yeah, and like Uber for me is $30. I'd much rather spend $30 on an Uber than $10,000 for getting caught or whatever.
Oh yeah, and wrecking your life.
Yeah, or somebody else's. Somebody else's.
Right, that's even a better point. Somebody else's. But
I just don't get it. So change up just a hair, staying in football, but with going college. As much as I hate to Man, as much as I hate to admit this, IU's got a good looking football team, and they're college game day today.
Boom, boom, boom. Hey, David, it's really a good story, right? They're ranked number 13.
I know.
And
Being a Purdue guy, it's tough to admit that. But they really haven't, and not to be whatever, they really haven't played anybody yet. I mean, they've got the cupcakes, in my opinion. I had a talk with a former IU player yesterday, and he's all like, "You should be at game day tomorrow," and I'm like, "No, you haven't played nobody. You got to play." And I know they got Ohio State and Michigan coming up. Michigan's beatable.
Yeah.
So, and Michigan's in Bloomington. That's going to be a home game. But it's an exciting time. I mean, it's good for the Big Ten. Good for the state of Indiana. It's as much as I hate to admit it, it's good to see. So Purdue, they won their one game this year. That's probably about all they're going to win.
They'll be back though. Purdue's always been a much more solid football program than IU.
I do tend to bring up like the overall record is what, so
yeah, I know.
just saying.
Just saying. Indiana, David, since you brought that up, Indiana versus Michigan record all time. Man, it's ugly.
I bet Michigan's got 75 plus more wins. I want to say 100, but I don't know how long the series has been going on.
It's 62.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they pounded. Right. They pounded. Last year they beat them 52-7.
Ouch.
Yeah, it's.
But Michigan's beatable this year, though, right?
Yeah, and in saying that, yeah, they are. And for some reason, I know it's going to sound stupid because I just said they got beat by 52-7, but there have been some years where they have played them very, very tight. Like in 2017, they lost by 3 in overtime. They lost by 10 in 2016. They lost in 2 overtimes in 2015. They won in 2020 in Bloomington. They beat them 38-21. That's the first win in David. When they beat them in 2020, that was their first win since 1987.
Mm-hmm.
So
wow.
I think they're going to be jacked up for that game. I think they may beat them. They may beat them.
And last time they won a Rose Bowl was 1967.
Right. Yep.
Oh. Yeah. I mean, every now and again, teams have got. I guess you got to come. I mean, again, I'm not trying to poo on their parade, but you're like, it's been a while. You're kind of due, I guess.
And they beat Michigan 27-20 in Ann Arbor that year.
Some dumbass just ran a red light like it was nothing. Anyway.
Yeah, but. Yeah, it'd be a good weekend for you for sports here. You got to do this tailgate, and then we'll have football on all day, and then tomorrow. I'd
still much rather the college game. To me is just better. I my own opinion. I like pro, but this college game day is just, man, I like this stuff. Hey, on the. While I got you here, and going back to that the next game at home on the 9th, we're going to do an Everclear tasting and pizza that day. So we're going to do pizza on the grill, and then one of the guys is bringing different varieties of Everclear. So if that entices you to show up or whatever, just putting that in your head or whatever. So
yeah, I need to get to one of them. So I plan on coming by that day.
Okay. Yeah. We're gonna do pizza on the flat top grill that I have. So
wow, I've never had that before.
I haven't either. I need to give it a test run before, so I'm not like that day. Like, what am I doing? But we'll figure it out.
Yeah. So David, got an election coming up, right? Country's getting kind of geared up for that.
Yeah. A lot of I'm hearing. I don't know what you're hearing, but I'm hearing a lot of people are already kind of getting that vote in already. I mean, I know I have. Have you? I think you said you've already early voted, or no?
Yeah, I did. It was nuts because usually in Indiana, I always early vote, and so usually I can just slide in, right, and walk right in. This time I was shocked. I went 3 times and couldn't get in. Well, I could have got in. I refused to wait in the line that was wrapped around the building. And then finally I went in late in the evening at the library and got in. There were about 10 people ahead of me, but I was like, man, I just got to get this over with because I've come 3 times.
I will say that I overly like, so it started October the 8th, and then where I live, the hours, I love the hours. The hours are from 8 to 4, and I'm like, that's nobody can't say that, man, I don't have time to go in and do it or whatever. You got all the time in the world. That's all you got is time.
Yeah, exactly.
Or whatever. So yeah, everybody needs to, however you choose to vote, get out and do it. And yeah, I'm not sure what's going to happen. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I'd be surprised either way, whatever happens. So
right.
I don't know.
Well, and the thing is like I always thought that election day should be like a federal holiday.
Okay,
like,
I got you.
Like why is that day not like a day that Americans can get off and go vote? I mean,
that makes sense.
Yeah, some countries I think do that, and so people can all get in to vote. It's just I don't understand. But I guess if you open it up, my thing is, why don't they open it up in July? Why, you know what I mean? Why is it got to be like a short little span of time? And
but then also to your point with that, why is don't you think the talk about all this is way too long? I mean, shouldn't?
No, it's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous.
And it always just seems like it always gets incorporated into everything. I'm like, why in the hell is this? I don't want to talk about that today.
And then, and then they're all taking news clips of each other and saying that he's Hitler, no, she's Hitler. It's like we don't think any of them are Hitler. So it's just stupid. It's a waste of time and money. And I think maybe the news media is extra way to make extra money. It's just, it's kind of silly actually, but yeah, so that'll be done. And then we got a bunch of state and local stuff. So,
did you see that? Did you see the? And I right off the name is escaping me. The 111th district in New York. That dude that went up and took the mail, his competitor's mail or flyer thing out of somebody's mailbox and put his in there.
No,
and then he's denying that he did it, and it's clearly on camera. It's the funniest damn thing I've ever seen. The funniest thing is that look up the 111th district in New York. The gentleman's name is escaping me, but he's clearly on video doing it, and then he's like, let's talk about something else. And you're like, no, dude, you did it, And then other people are like, well, it's just gotcha journalism. No, it's not. How is it gotcha journalism when he's right there on film, or whatever? It's just. It's hilarious.
111th district.
Joe something or another.
New York. What should I do? Like video of cheating or?
No, it should pop up. It should automatically just. I mean, is it Joe something or another? The dude's name. I don't remember.
So he got caught. He got caught.
Is it not coming up or?
Yeah, explain it again though. So he got caught.
So he's on. If you watch the video, he goes up on somebody's porch and takes the competitors, whoever's competition is, their mailer thing out of the mailbox and puts his in, and then gets busted for it. Kind of like there's video because there's a door cam because you can't steal somebody's mail and then deny. The point is that he's like trying to dance around it or whatever. I'm like. I'll just come right out and say that's what you did or whatever. People might have more respect for you if you'd be like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have done that. I did, and blah, blah, blah. But just if you watch it or whatever, it's just funny.
Yeah, here it is.
Genuine challenges facing and
it's calling him.
Yeah. Go ahead.
He's the one saying that it's gotcha journalism. I'm like, no, it's not, motherfucker. You did that to you're clearly. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it is clear as day on video right here.
That's a door cam.
He had to do a press conference.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
This guy can't win, man. Stealing something out of somebody. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Isn't that a federal offense?
It is a federal offense. Yeah.
Wow.
It most certainly is.
That's hilarious.
It is. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, he's all over. Now I see it. Joe
Mastriani or something like that. Yeah.
Dodging questions as he steals mail.
Yeah.
Oh, and then now they're saying mail theft is rampant in the area. It's like,
yeah, of course.
Oh
yeah,
my gosh. No, I did not hear about that. Thanks for bringing that up, man. That is interesting.
Yeah, I just bring it up because it's funny, and for him to say, for that gentleman to say, well, got your journalism or whatever. No, it's not, dude. Answer the question. You're a public servant. Answer the question. Even though you're clear as day getting caught doing it, you can't deny what you did.
Yeah, there's some weird things that happen in New York, and I don't know why. Last year, I think a dead person won an election in New York. Wow. Yeah, and and so then they were like, how they didn't take him off the ballot after he died, and I don't know what happens after that, but like he won, and then everybody's like he can't serve. And so I don't know what happened. I stopped following the story, but I'm sure they reelected someone else. But it's kind of like, wow.
But going back to your point earlier, when you say that we have an election coming up in a couple of weeks. What's 10 or 11 days, whatever it is.
Right.
I'm almost after it's over. I almost kind of feel like just like not going anywhere, doing nothing because I just wonder what kind of mess things are going to be after, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at. I don't, I want to go somewhere and just kind of be like, okay, so-and-so won, just leave it go and not have to, when I don't know, I just don't,
well,
I just think that the after stuff of this is just going to make me not want to be out or be, I don't know.
I know what you're saying.
I think I'm more concerned about the after part of it than I am the day of part of it or whatever. I don't know.
Well, I
just don't.
David, you got Arizona saying it's going to take them 10 days to count it.
Okay.
You got you got Philadelphia saying it's going to take 5 to 8. Yeah, you're right. It's I don't know. It's disgusting how they play it afterwards and I don't know. It just needs to be hopefully sometime it can all be just kind of
is this the normal though now?
I think it's becoming the normal, unfortunately. And they got to end it somehow because
but weren't your parents, it seemed like when we were growing up or whatever, there wasn't none of it. Was it like this? I don't remember it being like this.
No, it was never
and
like
by
that.
By this, I mean like just the vitriol for if somebody thinks differently than you. Right. I'm like, why do we all need to think? What a boring world this would be if we all thought the same.
I know. Exactly. That's a great statement. That should be on a T-shirt. What a boring world it would be if we all thought the same. Yeah, you're right. It would be because it's you would just hope like you and I growing up, every election was called election night. And it was over and you knew, and the country moved on. And now it's like no one wants to lose. So they're trying to find extra ways to win. Right. And it's like, if you're extended,
and if somebody does lose, then it was rigged or whatever. It's not, well, how come, why? Oh, man. I don't know. Again, maybe
because we know this, if Donald J. Trump wins, they'll allege it was rigged. And if they win, he's going to allege it's rigged. We know that.
Right.
So, so it's not just one of them saying it, it's both. So, and as a country, we don't need to be thinking that. We need to get away from that.
Good morning, Lauren. How are you? Sorry.
Are you there?
I'm pulling up to my tailgate now. Yeah, saying good morning to everybody. I always like to when we do this, I always like to feed the groundskeepers ladies and the security staff and stuff too. So, good morning.
That's awesome.
So,
man.
yeah. So, and they got the fire pit going on campus. So,
Wow.
yeah, that's gonna be a good day.
We got any random thoughts before we go?
Oh, I think we're kind of, man, this is going to eat at me for a little while. The civility after, and I know this isn't something we normally particularly care to talk about, but I'm definitely worried about the nation and civility afterwards. I had a guy last night that says you can guarantee that there'll be a civil war, and I'm like, civil war for who are you?
All right.
How are you going to determine who's what and how and this and that? But if are you willing to, and this was a small business owner that I was talking to. I go, you're literally looking to ruin your own whatever for, I'm like, what? I mean, I don't know.
It's
Again,
crazy
maybe
talk.
I'm the one wrong. So
No, it's crazy talk. I mean, our country's gone through how many elections, right? Not had problems. So,
right.
I think there probably is some concern, but we probably know where it'll happen at, right? It's going to be in one of the major cities, probably. So, and the people that do this stuff tend to target areas where they can get away with it. So,
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. I guess I really hadn't thought of it that way, but that's a good point.
yeah. So I hope nothing happens. I hope it all is
Right.
clean and green, and people that there's been one side that's moved on for the last 4 years, and the other side, if they lose, needs to move on. And I don't know. It's going to be interesting though. But I think you're right. People in America might want to get a couple weeks of food supply. Unfortunately,
I guess
right?
I never thought of it that way. There was. Do you remember Jenny McIntyre?
Yeah, absolutely.
She would always
awesome.
always talk about. Yeah. Oh yeah. One of the best people I've ever met.
Professional.
She would talk about her brother lives in Idaho or something, and he had a bunker with in case something happens. And I would, when she would tell those stories a long time ago, I would be like, that's crazy. But now that I think about it, I'm like, dude's probably in the right.
Yeah, I have relatives like that too, that have like 45 days worth of canned food stored.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I'm like, wow. And I think they live in Appalachia. I think it's just normal for them to have that. You know what I mean? Because life wasn't easy 40, 50, 60, 70 years ago. And you know what I mean? It just got passed down through generations. But,
Right.
But yeah, I mean, probably, somebody attacks the power grid and shuts it down. I mean, it's gonna disrupt the supply chain. And so I think that's what's, heck, the State Department yesterday is doing an investigation now because they say Trump and J.D. Vance's phone have been hacked by China. So, it's just
really?
Yes.
Jeez.
Yes. And so they're investigating it. So, we already got shenanigans going on. So, but
Wow.
we'll get through it.
Yeah. Let's hope so. I mean, I'd hate to see F up the economy any more than,
Right.
This was just what we went through
I
2
know.
years ago.
That's horrible because people, like during COVID, people can't get medicines and things like that.
Right.
It's just, that would be unacceptable. Unacceptable.
Completely.
Yeah.
So what about you? Any final thoughts or?
Yeah, I just was surprised at the amount of people that don't vote. Like if year after year, you look at this and you get all these people complain about stuff. And when you look at the statistics, like, man, it's like not a lot of Americans actually vote. And
My Uber driver
can't
coming
believe it.
down to Indy yesterday. My Uber driver coming down to Indy yesterday was emphatic. She's like, "No, not this time. And I'm like, okay. And, why? And she's like, I don't think we have any viable candidates. And I'm like, all right, fair.
Do we
I mean,
ever?
that was exactly, boom. That's exactly what I said. I go, well, I'm having a hard time thinking of, when the last time we really did, so.
When you were excited, yeah. I mean,
I'm like, okay. I mean, I guess I get it, but you really need to. I kind of said, just do your homework or whatever, and if you still feel that you don't,
yeah,
need to. Son of a goddamn.
it's your right not to, right? But I mean, hard to complain if you don't.
I'm gonna. Son of a bitch.
You gotta get going.
I left my brats.
No,
I left the brats. God, like,
Dave.
fucking. Sorry, excuse my
That's
language.
all right.
You can bleep that one out.
Yeah.
God damn it. All right, I gotta.
All right, brother.
Damn it, Tony.
That's all
I'll
right.
see ya.
My bad.
All right,
Yep.
well, we're doing this next week then?
Absolutely, bud.
That's not your bad at all. No, it's dumbass. God, I'm such a dumbass. All right, brother. I'll see
All
ya.
right, man.
Take care.
Yep, you too, David. Shit's gonna
All
happen.
right, bye.